Since 1900, the big three automakers are Ford, GM, and Chrysler. The entire country's auto industry revolved around Detroit, Michigan. They were like the heart and soul of the entire auto industry. Till the early 2000s, they were running the show, then Chrysler had its own struggles and setbacks and had its own downfall. But Ford and GM were carrying the torch for American automakers. But lately, it seems like they've been losing their grip. And they're losing it to none other than Tesla, the tech-based wonder from Silicon Valley. Who would have thought Detroit's Big Three will be dominated by a tech startup from Silicon Valley? Ford and GM are in real trouble, and things are not looking good for them. Tesla is eating up the market share quarter after quarter as the adoption of EVs is on the rise. In this video, we'll see if Tesla was the only reason behind Ford and GM's downfall, or if the traditional automakers dug their own grave. Back in 2008, when Tesla released the first-generation Roadster, not many people thought they stood a chance. Everyone thought there was no way Tesla can become a proper automaker. Elon was considered a tech guy rather than a person who can run a car company. In 2016 to 2018, everyone, including Elon Musk, thought Tesla would go bankrupt when they were experiencing production hell with the Model 3. Since then, there's no stopping Tesla, and they've been smashing record after record with their mind-blowing delivery numbers. In fact, Tesla stands alone as the sole automaker to achieve a remarkable year-over-year increase for an entire decade. Thanks to Elon's determination, we can now witness the electric revolution taking the world by storm. On the other hand, the legacy automakers who were ruling the game till the 2000s are seeing a decline. Let's look at Ford and GM's numbers for the last decade. Back in 2014, Ford was revving its engines and sold a whopping 2.3 million units. They kept the pedal to the metal in 2015, 2016, and 2017 with 2.5 million units each year. Even in 2018 and 2019, they managed to keep the wheels spinning and sold around 2.3 million units. But here's where the road gets bumpier. In recent years, their numbers took a nosedive, and last year they were down to 1.7 million units. And here's the kicker. This is not just EVs, but the good old internal combustion engines too. These numbers may be exclusive to the US, but that's one hefty drop. Now let's shift gears and shift our focus to GM, another heavyweight in the industry. For years, they were roaring down the highway, selling a whopping 3 million units annually from 2014 to 2018. They practically owned the road, but the plot thickens. Starting from 2019, their engines started to sputter and stall. It was as if they hit a pothole and lost some serious momentum. In the past couple of years, they could only muster a modest 2.2 million units. The road ahead hasn't been smooth for them either. Now, let's not forget that we're looking at the North American market only, mainly focusing on the US and Canadian markets. But if we widen our lens and take a peek at the global numbers, it's even worse. From selling around 10 million units from 2014 to 2017, they plummeted to a mere 5.9 units in 2022. That's nearly a 50% drop. It's like hitting the brakes in the middle of a race. Now let's look at their cash on hand and their debt. Ford currently has $39.5 billion cash on hand as of Q1 2023. This is a 4.1% decline year over year. Their cash on hand for 2022 was $44.07 billion, which is an 11.14% decline from the previous year. On the other hand, their debt stands at $88.8 billion, which increased 0.46% from the previous year of $88.4 billion. Whereas GM cash on hand as of Q1 2023 is $28.2 billion from $31.3 billion from a quarter before. Their cash is down $3 billion in just a quarter, and their debt stands at $75.9 billion, which is a 0.3% increase from the previous year. They're bleeding money. Tesla's cash on hand is $22.4 billion as of Q1 2023, which is a 24.3% increase from year over year. At the end of 2022, their cash on hand was at $22.1 billion, which is a 25.2% increase from 2021. Whereas their debt as of Q1 2023 is at $2.6 billion, down from $3.1 billion from the previous quarter. Tesla is most likely to be debt-free in the next decade, a feat that's unheard of in the auto industry for more than a century. So the pattern is the same with Ford and GM. Their cash on hand is decreasing and their debt is increasing each quarter, whereas the opposite is happening with Tesla. From 2018 and 2019, legacy automakers' numbers started to decline. So what exactly happened around 2018 and 2019 for these major automakers to experience a decline? As we dig deeper, a captivating subplot emerges. First and foremost, while Tesla was fighting tooth and nail to overcome their production challenges and pave the way for the electric car revolution, a different story was unfolding for Ford and GM. Instead of embracing the winds of change and focusing on their own brands, they took an unexpected detour. In a desperate attempt to quash the rising titan that is Tesla, both Ford and GM stooped to unimaginable depths. They resorted to cunning political maneuvers and even went as far as spreading fake ads. It's like watching a high-stakes poker game where the players are willing to play dirty to secure their spot at the top of the automotive food chain. And secondly, instead of accepting that electric vehicles are the future, they chose to live in denial. How many times have we seen those so-called Tesla killer stories coming from Ford and GM? Even after all these years, we see the traditional media painting Ford and GM as the winners, while Tesla continues to dominate the roads. But it gets even more bizarre. When Tesla releases a simple software update, the media pounces on it like a pack of hungry wolves, screaming about recalls and malfunctions. Yet when Ford has a massive recall, it's crickets from the headlines. Talk about a double standard. It's like the media has a secret agenda, trying to dim Tesla's light while shining a spotlight on Ford and GM. Now let's talk numbers. In the first quarter of 2023, Tesla delivered a jaw-dropping 423,000 units. Yet somehow, the media spins a tale of doom and gloom as if Tesla's on the brink of collapse. Meanwhile, GM delivers a measly 20,000 units, and suddenly, it's a breakout year with all the positive news. Ford and GM are trying to keep paying advertisers to make headlines, and not to mention, we all know how the current administration is calling GM and Ford the EV leaders, when Tesla's the one who's really leading. I don't want to get into that topic more, as everyone by now knows what happened. The truth is crystal clear. Ford and GM waited too long to make the transition, and now they're paying the price. Just like Nokia and BlackBerry didn't expect Apple, Ford and GM didn't expect Tesla. They're locked in a fierce price war with Tesla, slashing the prices of their vehicles to stay afloat. However, Tesla's profit margins are sky high, allowing them to weather the storm. In a twist of fate, Ford and GM find themselves bleeding money with each EV they sell, desperately clutching on to their traditional internal combustion engine business for dear life. Traditional automakers' main problem is their EVs break even at around $60,000, which makes it unfavorable for profitability. This is going to affect their plans to sell 2 million units in a year by 2026. There's no way they're going to sell that many units per year with their current business model. One, they don't have the production, and two, the profit margin. When they're losing money with each EV they sell, there's no way they can sell that many units. Their delay in adaptation and obsession with crushing Tesla instead of embracing change is now coming back to haunt them. As the ICE industry slowly fades away, Ford and GM find themselves trapped by their own choices. They tried to kill Tesla, but instead, they're killing their own brand. It's an inevitable fate they can no longer escape. Ford and GM are entirely dependent on their ICE business for their revenue. One is with sales and the other with service. ICE vehicles have regular maintenance. However, EVs don't require regular oil changes and other engine-related repairs ICE vehicle owners routinely bear. Another major problem they're facing is with the dealers. They depend on their dealers to sell their vehicles. Just with the ICE vehicle service, the dealer's gross profit is 50%. And with 2/3 of car consumers very much interested in purchasing EVs, the dealers have to pivot. As per the data, only 60% of the dealers are going to embrace the change. Whereas Tesla does direct-to-consumer sales, they're killing the game with their business model. Tesla does operate with showrooms, but it's all company-owned. Tesla has around 160 stores in the United States and 438 around the world. Even though they have stores, their sales are done online. Ford and GM waited too long. They had their time in this transition, but instead of embracing the change, their motives were different. Now, when they want to change, it's already too late. It's not because of Tesla, they only have themselves to blame. For Tesla, the road ahead may not be smooth, but it's full speed ahead toward a future of electric excellence. Remember, the automotive landscape is shifting, and Tesla's at the forefront. Let's buckle up and witness the electric revolution taking the world by storm. It's a thrilling ride, and we're lucky to be here to witness it. Thanks for watching. Until next time.